I am here today to talk about the Disneyland Paris audition. I'm going to start off by saying that this video does contain spoilers. If you are a young child or you just don't want me to kill your Disney dream, please turn off the video now. Before further ado, let's begin. Also, just to let you know, this audition process is purely on Disneyland Paris. It's not for the Orlando, Los Angeles, and like Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Shanghai, I think the other one. So it's nothing to do with them. This is just on Disneyland Paris. I'm not sure how the others run. I think they've got a different casting process or whatever. So I auditioned in London in the Pineapple Dance Studios on Langley Street. It was in January, so it was quite cold at the time. The audition started at 10. I got there at, I think it was 8:30, and queued up to go in. I like to go there early just so I can sort of assess what everyone's wearing and don't have the stress of being late and the pressure of being late. So I arrived, and the first thing that they did was give you a form that you had to write your name, your age, and your height. And the first thing that they do is measure you. So whatever you do, do not lie about your height, because that is the first thing they do. It also seems silly because why you write down your height when they're going to measure you anyway, and they write down the height again, but they do. So you just queue up in like switchbacks and like zigzag lines, and you queue up to get measured. Also, don't have your hair in a bun, because it's one of those, the height ones that you just stand up and they measure you like, and you take your shoes off and everything. And then they give you give them the form, and they give you a sticker, and they stick them on your form so they know that you're who you say you are, so they can write it. And it's all done in numerical order, but I was number 450 something. It was quite high, but then I don't know what number they started at, but then I know they went up to like 800. So there was a lot of people there, like a lot of people. So after everyone's got measured, you then watch a presentation of Disney and how it works and what jobs there are and accommodation and just everything you really need to know there and then that you may have questions about. They also tell you about the two different contracts. So you get a CDD or a CDI. So a CDD means that it's more like seasonal work. So you get a start date and an end date, and that is your contract. So it could be for the summer, you could have the beginning of August to the end of August, and that is set, and you finish and end on those dates. A CDI, however, you have a start date, and then you can finish whenever you like, really. Some people don't stay very long. Some people stay for years. I mean, met someone there who stayed for 12 years. So some people stay for a year, 2 years, so it really depends, but those are the two different contracts. I was on a CDI, so I could stay whenever I wanted. I'm going to quickly talk about what I wore at the audition, because I think it is important that people wear appropriate to what the audition is for. So because it was a Disney audition, I wore leggings and a top that was not too tight but not too baggy at the same time, but I also wore a leotard underneath just in case, because some judges like to see your body shape. So I had sort of best of both worlds. So if they were like, oh, okay, have you got anything tighter, then I can then take my top off. And I wore Converse as shoes, as comfortable, but some people wore jazz shoes, some people wore ballet shoes, which I guess if you're comfortable, it's fine. I personally wouldn't go barefoot because everyone else is in shoes. Yeah, I would probably say wear comfortable trainers like Converse, Vans, that sort of thing. And also, don't dress up as Minnie. I went to my audition, someone actually looked like Minnie Mouse. She had the ears and she wore that red and white spotty top, and I was like, God, she must be so desperate. So I personally that's a bad idea, because it's just screaming like, I guess it noticed, but I don't think she got recalled. So not that it mattered what she wore, but that's just my opinion. So the first round was the animation round. You got given different characters that you would expect to find in Disneyland. For example, princess, villain, fairy, cowboy, those sort of things. And you have to animate it. And you get about 10 seconds for each character, and they give you a short piece of music to help you animate in a way. And you get split into your groups. So depending on, it's done in number order again. So you'd be with people who are next to your number, and you get split up diagonally so that everyone can be seen. My advice is just to be bigger the better, because if you think about it, if you do get into Disneyland, you get a fur costume more likely, and it's so big that if you can't do little movements, so if you're going to sign a note, you can't just do this because they're not going to see it. You have to be like really big and make sure, like, I am signing a note, like it's obviously I am hungry, like you just have to be so big. And also be careful of space, because I had someone who kept bumping into me and it was driving me crazy. I mean, like, go big, but know your limits, know where everyone is around you, just be spatially aware, but be big with what you do. Like, you can say things that, like, will do things that are big but at the same time don't be static, like use your body. I remember just going for it and thinking, oh my goodness, I feel like such a goon, but I got recalled, so like I guess it was all good. Like after that round there was a cut, and a lot of people got cut at that round. I think Disney know the heights they want and they know what they're looking for, and if you don't match that criteria, then you are just gone. So a lot of people went in that round. The next round was the dance round. So animation was over. We never have to think about the animation. If it went wrong, then like we'll just forget about it. If you got through, congratulations, you're through, and you can just forget that ever happened, really. Yeah, so you learn a dance routine. They are quite nice, and they do swap lines around. They do go over if you have any questions you can ask at the end. You learn it bit by bit as you normally would in an audition. Also, some people are not dancers and really struggled with this section of the audition. When I actually worked at Disney, there was so many people who weren't dancers who could cope. So it's not, if you're not a dancer, do not worry at all. Do the best you can and just don't stand still. Like if you forget it, just like dance around and just do something. Don't just stand there and think, oh my God, I forgot what I'm doing. Because that is the worst thing you possibly do. And after you've learnt all the dance around, they make sure that everyone's comfortable if everyone wants to do it again. And then there is a cut again. It's sort of, I never know how many people are cut, because I'm like, oh God, like, and they do it, they cut people really strangely, because they do it, if they call your number out at the end of when you dance, then you're out. Well, normally in auditions, they call your number and you're in. So I constantly was like looking down like, oh, what's my number? I keep forgetting. And then, oh, thank you very much. That's the end of your audition. And the rest of you can sit down and do the rest of the audition. So dancing, and then they're automatically just cutting people. And then there was just this group of us. There's probably about 50 of us left at this point. And they're asking for people to dance again. So I hear my number being called, and I was like, oh God, why do they want me to dance? I was like, oh. So I get up, I dance again, and then another group dances straight after, and they tell us to wait to the side. And then they bring us close, the judges bring them close and say, we would like to try you for face. We'd like you to come back to try on wigs and hair. Wigs and hair is the same thing. I mean, wigs and makeup. And later on in the day, I mean, I think there was 12 of us, so 6 went first, and I was in the other group. So I went to go and get lunch, and then I came back and then tried on my hair and makeup. I don't really know what happened to the other people, because I left at that point. So I don't know how many people got a contract or got a card. I don't really know what happened to them. They may have danced again and I really don't know. I can't really say. So I came back after lunch to try on my hair and makeup, and it was basically from the neck up. So everything was done how my character would be. So I had the wig on, I had all the makeup done, someone did it for me. And actually felt like I was in prison at this point, because I held my piece of paper with my information on it. I sort of held it to the front like this, and then had to turn to the side and held it like this, like so they could see like a profile and a face on. But at this point, I was like, oh God, like this is real. This is real. So everyone had it all done at different times, and as well, some people did get cut because they didn't look like their character, which is really depressing, because they're like, oh sorry, you don't fit, and they just left. So the end of this round, there was, well, I think there was like 4 left, and 2 people went up to the judges and they had a chat, and there was just me and this other guy just sitting there like, oh God, like, what's happening now? And the 2 got, so they said that they didn't fit the character that they wanted, but they loved their dancing and they loved their animation, that they got a card saying if there was a contract that didn't have a face character, then they would get it. And then me and this guy came up and they said that we loved your character, and if there was a contract available for a face, then you would get it. So at this point, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. It took that long to do everything completely. It took that long. So we started at 10 and we finished at 6. Yeah, I did have like an hour half break, but it was a very, very long day. And after that, I was so tired and was just so glad to get home. And exactly a week later, I got a call from the casting to say that there is a contract for me, and they're going to email me across my contract and all the details that I needed to know, like what time I was going, how I would get there, and all that sort of thing. So I was so happy that I'll actually be going to Disneyland, and I actually couldn't believe it was true. So that was my Disneyland audition in a nutshell for you. If you have any questions, I hope I haven't missed anything out. Don't think I have, but I may well have done. Feel free to comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you are auditioning for Disneyland, good luck, and I hope this has helped you.